35,620. The S&P 500 is up 21, and the NASDAQ is up 134 points. From the Cobalt Investment Group, Now Creative Planning, I'm Aaron Spitzner.
Was a mass shooting at a middle school narrowly averted in Waukesha? And why were parents never told about it? Could it be that, like the suspected school shooter in Minneapolis yesterday, the suspect, who was just 13 years old, is transgender? It is a deeply, and I mean deeply, disturbing exclusive story that we will begin with right here on the Dan O'Donnell Show. This just might be the most jam-packed show we have ever put on for you, ladies and gentlemen, because in the 4 o'clock hour, we will be joined by not one, but two different committee chairmen from the House of Representatives. The Judiciary Committee Chairman, Ohio's Jim Jordan, will join us alongside Wisconsin's own Bryan Steil, the chairman of the House Administrative Committee, and we will discuss their investigations into suspected money laundering to the Democrats through their fundraising platform, Act Blue. If that wasn't enough, coming up in the 5 o'clock hour, another exclusive story. Democrats in the state legislature are doubling down on opposing ICE and any sort of deportation of dangerous illegal immigrant criminals. You do not want to miss a single second of today's show. And if you would like to join us, our phone lines are always open. The AdventKnows.com talk and text line is 414-799-1130. You can also reach us toll free, 1-800-838-9476. Email me directly, dod@iheartmedia.com, at Dan O'Donnell Show on X, where we are streaming the show live, as well as on Facebook, facebook.com/Dan O'Donnell Show. You can also find us on Instagram at Dan O'Donnell Show. And we are always streaming on our YouTube channel. Please do like and subscribe to the official Dan O'Donnell Show channel there. And we do humbly ask that you support us by subscribing to the Dan O'Donnell Show podcast on iHeartRadio or wherever you listen to podcasts. It's a great metric that shows my bosses just how impactful this show is. In exchange, I will give you in the 5 o'clock hour another chance to win $1,000 plus a trip for two to Las Vegas in our iHeartRadio Music Festival Flyaway contest. FBI Director Kash Patel has just provided an update into what he's calling yesterday's barbaric attack from Robert Westman, the male subject who identified as a female going by the name of Robin. Patel said in a post on X today, our teams have gathered information and evidence demonstrating this was an act of domestic terrorism motivated by a hate-filled ideology. Some updates. The subject left multiple anti-Catholic, anti-religious references, both in his manifesto and written on his firearms. The subject expressed hatred and violence toward Jewish people, writing Israel must fall, free Palestine, and using explicit language related to the Holocaust. He also wrote an explicit call for violence against President Trump on a firearm magazine. The FBI investigation is still ongoing. We will employ all of our counter-terror tools to ensure that this is fully investigated and deterred. As promised, we will continue to update when able. 17 people were injured and 2 children aged 8 and 10 were killed in that attack when the gunman opened fire in a church that the school was using to host an all-school welcome back to school mass. All but 3 of those injured are children. 2 of those hurt are still in critical condition. And of course, we here at the Dan O'Donnell Show pray for all those impacted by this tragedy. As a result of this tragedy, I was made aware of an eerily similar incident that might have, if not for quick-thinking student resource officers and other Waukesha police officers and school officials at Les Paul Middle School in Waukesha. A student, a 13-year-old biological female who identifies as a male. This is a student who is transgender and at the very least is socially transitioning, or was at the time that she made very violent, very explicit, and very specific threats. I have obtained the documents that the school used to expel this student, who was also arrested by the Waukesha Police Department last year on suspicion of making terroristic threats. Now, the student was referred to juvenile authorities, and even I don't have access to juvenile records. I do not know, therefore, how the criminal case was adjudicated, whether she was convicted of making terroristic threats. I don't know. But I do know that she was arrested after Waukesha officials made the police department aware of this. What I am going to read to you comes directly from the expulsion proceedings of this student. Everyone involved has their name redacted, as they are all minors. The only student whose name was actually listed in this expulsion document is the young suspect. I am going to refer to her as the suspect. There was an accomplice. I am going to refer to that person as they are referred to in the expulsion document as student A. The only other name that is released is the school resource officer from Les Paul Middle School. I am also not going to use this resource officer's name just because it's not relevant to the story, and I'm always a little skittish about identifying individual law enforcement officers because of the potential for any sort of retaliation or that. I can tell you, though, that there is deep concern amongst those few people who did know about what it was that happened last year. And this went on for a period of several weeks where these two students, the suspect as well as student A, were making hit lists, were making explicit references to the Columbine shooters as well as other school shootings. Yet it appears that at no point, even though Waukesha police investigators were of the opinion that had this not been caught, this could have very well been an actual school shooting, that this was not an idle threat, that this did appear to be the planning for a school shooting at Les Paul Middle School. Now, I should point out, there was the student was arrested. The student was presumably charged in juvenile court. Again, I don't know because records are sealed, so I have no idea how this case was adjudicated. The student was expelled. At the end of last year, the student was expelled as a result of this incident. The issue that multiple people connected to this case have said is that nobody was informed of this, that parents were not informed that this threat was going on. And the belief is that it was because this was a transgender student, that there didn't want to be a furthering of the narrative that transgender people, even ones as young as 13 years old, this was a 13-year-old student who was experiencing some form of gender dysphoria, wanted to be identified as use male pronouns, adopted a male name. I don't know also whether there was any gender affirming therapy or gender conversion or anything like that that was being done to this student. But I can tell you, this is a transgender student. And the fear is that the Les Paul Middle School community was not not informed by the principal, by the Waukesha school district, by anyone associated with the school, out of a fear that there would be a judging or something of transgender students or the transgender community. I will warn you that what I am going to read, and I am going to read it over the course of probably a couple of segments, is going to be deeply disturbing. No names are going to be used, but I am just going to issue a warning that if you have young kids in the car going to soccer practice or a dentist appointment or coming home from the first week of school or something like that, you may want to turn the radio off, turn it back on. We're going to have Jim Jordan and Bryan Steil. We're going to have a discussion about smurfing, the potentially very, very illegal money laundering that has been going on for years through the Democrats' fundraising apparatus known as Act Blue. I would strongly encourage you to turn the radio off and turn it back on then. Okay? Here are the details. On September 26th, 2024, the suspect sent a text message to another student from an unknown location stating the following: "Once school starts again, another freak will happen. None of you freaks are going to see it coming. My freaks are actually going to work instead of those crappy," she used the S word, "freaky tape freak work and freaka called pipe freaks. No, these will be real bleeping freaks. No freak. My entire school will be wiped off the face of this freak. It's going to be freaksome. I'll be freak and natural suffreaction combined." Natural selection, I believe, is what she was sort of referencing. "I already have my dad's hunting freak and hundreds of rounds of live freamunition, as well as copious amounts of freak powder, which I'm going to assemble into freaks." She, of course, means bombs. "I'll plant them all over school, and if that piece of freak horrible building will become nothing but freak. If anyone freaks, freak them. Anybody escapes, oh well, they were freaked to get out of there. Freaking natural self-freaction. You puny freaks wouldn't get it anyway. Watch out, you bumbling baff freaks at my school. Outrun," this is all caps, "my freaking freak." She uses the word freak a freakish number of times, but she's clearly referencing here, I have my dad's gun, I have ammunition, I have gunpowder, I'm going to assemble bombs. I do not know whether or not she had access to her father's gun. I have no idea, frankly. However, this indicates a level of planning here. She's not just saying, okay, all of you are going to get it. You're going to feel my revenge. She's saying, I am going to get my dad's gun. I am going to get my dad's ammunition. I have access to all of this. I'm going to do it. Back to the expulsion document. In a Discord chat with student A, dated October 28th, 2024, the suspect referenced a hit list and history repeating itself related to the Columbine High School shooting. In a chat message with student A, dated October 28th, 2024, the suspect agreed to create a hit list the following day. This is significant because, as I said yesterday, copycat killers, those who actually do commit school shootings, almost all of them reference in some way the Columbine school shooting, either directly or indirectly. The gunman yesterday had the names of the two Columbine shooters on his guns and I believe on a magazine. On October 31st, 2024, at approximately 3:07 p.m., student A posted a video of the suspect on TikTok recorded at an unknown location. in which the suspect wore a long black trench coat, a black shirt with a red logo on it, sunglasses, and had changed her hair color to blonde. The caption included in the video said Dylan Jubold and his friend Rebo Dash. That, I believe, is a reference to Dylan Klebold and appears to make some form of anti-Semitic remark. Student A reported that on October 31st, 2024, the suspect in Student A spoke about access to guns. The suspect was talking about the guns and said if they really needed something, she could have easy access to guns because she could find the code to the locked office somewhere in their house. During the investigation, students at Les Paul Middle School and in neighboring school districts who viewed the video reported to the student resource officer that they perceived that the suspect was dressed as Dylan Klebold, a Columbine school shooter. Once again, there is a specific reference to a specific plan. This is not just a vague threat that the student has been bullied, that the student is angry at the world. The plan is to get the gun from the house and to use it to shoot up the school. We are going to continue with this. We have more than half of the evidence against this student still to read. Please do stay tuned. We do need to take a commercial break. We'll be back in just 3 minutes.
Keep in touch with Dan on Twitter at Dan O'Donnell Show. More of the show is next.
Our iHeartRadio Music Festival, presented by Capital One, is back in Vegas.
T-Mobile Arena.
Streaming live only on Hulu. A weekend full of superstar performances. And keep listening for the next chance to win your way there.
Capital One is the proud presenting partner of iHeartRadio Music Festival, bringing great products, rewards, and services to its customers. What's in your wallet?
Let's see, if something costs less, a lot less, but people are actually happier with it, that sounds like something to look into. And that's MetaShare. Maybe you've heard joining MetaShare can save you or your family up to $500 a month. And that's huge, but it's also true. People are just happier with it. They love being part of something that reflects and promotes their values and what they believe in. MetaShare works too. It's been around for 30 years now, and members have shared more than $7 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth and a huge nationwide PPO network. So yeah, really, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care, whether you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan that you're happy with. Here you go. You can call right now and get a price within 2 minutes. A very, very smart use of 2 minutes. Here's the number you need. It's 866-89-BIBLE. That's 866-89-BIBLE. 866-89-BIBLE.
Hey, it's Vicki McKenna for Berna. Well, crime continues to go up. You know that. Violence is happening all over our cities. You need protection on you at all times. So Berna wants you to conceal everywhere you go. So do I. That's why they made the new compact launcher. It's the world's smallest, less lethal pistol launcher. The compact launcher is about the same size as a smartphone. It's got tear gas and kinetic, less than lethal ammunition. It's designed to incapacitate your attacker for up to 40 minutes. The compact launcher is perfect for people who want protection but can't or won't carry a firearm. And if you're sending your kid off to college, how perfect is this? They need this. Berna requires no background checks. It can be shipped directly to your door. And Berna is trusted by police departments, government agencies, and others worldwide. Berna is also made in America. Each unit is hand-assembled in Fort Wayne, Indiana. So pro-America, go America. So visit Berna.com today to find the right launcher for you. That's BYRNA.com.
Business owners, want to sell your business? At Lake Country Advisors, our team will meet with you face-to-face and will answer all your questions confidentially. Visit LakeCountryAdvisors.com and schedule a free consultation. Local, experienced, and trusted. We are Lake Country Advisors.
Make News Talk 1130 WISN your number one preset on our free iHeartRadio app, powered by Gruber Law.
One call, That's all.
Injured?
Remember, one call, that's all.
A 13-year-old transgender middle school student at Les Paul Middle School in Waukesha was arrested and expelled last year for a deeply specific plot to commit a mass shooting at the school. The student is a biological female who identifies as a male. She was just 13 when she was arrested at the school for specific, and I mean highly specific, threats that we are going through here right now on the Dan O'Donnell Show. In September, the student sent a long text in which she used the word freak about 1,500 times. Now, I don't want to make light of anything here, but she was using this as like a freak out. She was using the word freak instead of shoot. She was using the word freak instead of bomb, instead of gun. It was sort of, you could almost dismiss it. Yes, my producer Jeff says, yes, it is very unhinged. It is very crazy. But you could tell there were specifics there, that the student was going to get her dad's gun. It might have been a stepdad. I don't know. As far, I looked into court records here. It does appear, based on those court records, that the student's parents have been divorced for quite some time. So it might have been the dad. It might have been I have no idea what she's saying. There's a gun in the house, so she has access to the gun. Okay. There's a Discord chat that is also revealed right before Halloween of last year, in which this student is saying, I'm going to make a hit list. Then there's a TikTok video, and this starts to get the school resource officer's attention, because students see this TikTok. This apparently was the first publicly available piece of evidence against this student, in which she's wearing a long black trench coat, and anybody who remembers the Columbine shooting knows, right, the trench coat mafia, right? That was the thing. In fact, it's a bit of a myth. The two shooters in Columbine High School were not part of the trench coat mafia. That was a group of friends who had graduated a couple of years earlier. They were merely adopting the style of dress of them, but they wore black trench coats, all black, when they shot Columbine High School up, when they committed mass murder. So clearly here there is an intent to emulate the two Columbine shooters. And we pick it up from the document. Essentially, it's the charging document from Les Paul Middle School for the expulsion hearing. On November 4th, 2024, at 4:06 p.m., the suspect and student A text each other about both students being suspended. Student A says that they should fess up, say they are sorry, and had no bad intentions. The suspect responds saying, obviously we had bad intentions and they should fess up to an extent, admit to the pictures and emails, then say we didn't think it would be this serious. The suspect states they should pass the blame on to someone else for printing the pictures. The suspect tells student A to delete everything on their phones because they will be searched. So once this came to light, the students obviously got in trouble. They were going to be suspended. So delete everything, the pictures, the TikTok videos, the pictures, anything, okay? On November 6th, 2024, at approximately 1:30 p.m. in the main office of Les Paul Middle School, the school resource officer discovered videos of the suspect holding up pictures of Dylan Klebold and Eric Harris with references to the suspect as Dylan Klebold, and text exchanges between the suspect and student A about creating a manifesto, calling other students fat, referring to them as gay, and stating that the suspect wanted a student to die, planning scenarios to get other students in trouble, and including a burn book regarding other students. That probably made most famous in the movie Mean Girls. It's a book where you just write insults about every other student. Both the suspect and student A admitted to having school shooter ideations. On November 7th, 2024, the school resource officer located the book that the suspect and student A had created. In the book were color pictures of Les Paul students and drawings. On November 11th, 2024, at approximately 4:30 p.m., the school resource officer discovered a series of videos that the suspect and student A had made at the Waukesha Public Library. The content of the videos is them harassing another Les Paul student. The Les Paul student asks why they have pictures of Les Paul students. Student A responds, "Oh, those are actually our hit list." They both kept harassing the student, saying, "No one is going to believe you." The pictures in this video were the same ones that were located in the book that the suspect and student A had created. It is believed that this was a hit list of students at Les Paul. On November 15th, 2024, the Waukesha Police Department conducted a forensic download and search of the suspect's phones, which revealed the following searches the suspect had conducted: Trenchcoat Columbine, Tech 9, Wisconsin School Shooting List, School Shooting Targeted List, Eric Harris, Dylan Klebold, Thurston Shooting, Columbine High School, Military Surplus near Mukwonago, Keeping a Hit List, Keeping a Hit List as a Joke, Trans Kit Hit List, and Can 13-year-olds be arrested? The investigation by the Waukesha Police Department determined that there was probable cause to charge the suspect with terrorist threats for creating a substantial risk of public panic or fear under Wisconsin State Statute 947.019. The school administration believes proof of the above misconduct supports a finding that the suspect, while not at school or while not under the supervision of a school authority, engaged in conduct which endangered the property, health, or safety of others at school or under the supervision of a school authority pursuant to Wisconsin Statute 120.131C1. Investigators into this hit list and into these actions, sources tell me, did believe that these students may very well have followed up on them and may very well have, if not for the quick thinking of other students and the further investigation by this school resource officer, who does deserve a great deal of credit for not dismissing any of this, for following up on all of these tips that she was getting, and for figuring out that this was a very serious plot. The investigators here did believe that this could have very easily resulted in a school shooting. Now, sources are telling me that they are deeply disturbed. And while they understand that since this did not get past the planning stages, there is no need to, say, panic unnecessarily children who might have been on this list or something like that, there are questions, and I think very justified questions, as to why Les Paul Middle School's principal or the school district did not inform parents that this was going on. Because this was serious enough that a student was arrested on suspicion of making terroristic threats. This was not, okay, we're going to suspend the student. The student is going to face expulsion proceedings. This resulted in a criminal arrest and presumably criminal charges. Again, the student was not charged as an adult. There is no record, and I am going to post the documents heavily redacted, folks, because this is a minor student. And quite frankly, I don't think it benefits anybody from knowing the name. People involved here are probably going to be able to piece together. Students at Les Paul Middle School are probably going to be able to piece together who it is that was expelled. But beyond that, now there is a sentiment here, and the reason that this was forwarded on to me, the reason that I was involved in this was because of what happened in Minneapolis yesterday. That you had a 23, 24-year-old transgender suspect shoot up the school that apparently his mother worked at after he had been espousing deeply anti-Semitic, which you also saw here, the reference to Dylan Jubold. I guess I would interpret that to be some sort of anti-Semitic. This is the 13-year-old, so who knows what's going through a deeply, and I mean deeply disturbed 13-year-old girl's head. But this is the sort of thing that got brought to my attention. This story got brought to my attention because there is a belief that it was swept under the rug in Waukesha because it involved a transgender student, because it involved a biological female who at the very least had adopted a male name, was going by male pronouns. This is known as social transitioning. Again, because it's a minor, I don't have any records into whether or not this student had what is known in the left as gender affirming care, whether or not they were on hormones, anything like that. But this is, in fact, a deeply disturbing story. We are going to have more on it when the Dan O'Donnell Show returns. A reminder, coming up after the top of the hour news, we talk with Jim Jordan and Bryan Steil right here on the Dan O'Donnell Show.
The Dan O'Donnell Show is coming right back.
Las Vegas and the best musical artists on the globe. Sounds delightfully combustible, right? Win a trip for two to the iHeartRadio Music Festival presented by Capital One. 3 times each weekday. Text in a keyword and you might be a winner in the nationwide iHeartRadio Music Festival Flyaway Contest. Also in the prize package, $1,000.
The iHeartRadio Music Festival Flyaway Contest is sponsored locally by the friendly experts at Holiday Automotive in Fond du Lac. With 1,300 vehicles in one place, it's worth the trip. HolidayAutomotive.com.
Dan O'Donnell here for my good friends at Mander Collision and Glass, the only place I've trusted my vehicles with for years now. Their customer service is impeccable and their workmanship is so good, they guarantee it for life. But don't just take my word for it. Here's a 5-star review from Alana. Mander was amazing. From Noel at the front desk to Nikki, who helped coordinate my insurance and repairs, I could not have had a better experience. My 2021 Subaru Forester looks brand new. I honestly don't think I've had this great of a customer service experience in my life. I'll refer anyone and everyone to Mander if they ever find themselves in a bind. Thank you so much. No, thank you, Alana, for helping me spread the word about just how great Mander is. Wherever you are in the greater Milwaukee and Waukesha area, there's a service center near you. So start your repair now at mandercollision.com.
When it comes to selling a home, it can be hard to know who you can trust. I'm Tom Detwich with Grandview Homes. We've spent 15 years helping families move forward with integrity at the heart of everything we do. After all, this isn't just a house we're talking about. It's where memories were made and irreplaceable moments occurred. Our reputation is built on doing what we promise. No surprises, just an honest offer to buy your home. Get your no-obligation offer at grandviewhomes.com today. grandviewhomes.com.
Right now is the best time ever to buy a vehicle, and the Russ Darrow Group is leading the way. Don't wait for prices to rise. Get the best value and selection before they're gone. Drive today, save tomorrow. Visit russdarrow.com now.
Ever feel like financial advisors just don't speak your language? Money Sense is here to change that. It's the podcast and radio show from the Ellen Becker Investment Group, a local, woman-owned firm that's been helping families for over 30 years. Each episode breaks down money topics in a way that actually makes sense. No jargon, no sales pitch, just real-life guidance you can use. Subscribe to Money Sense on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or listen at ellenbecker.com.
Hi, I'm Willa Voss. I'm 8 years old. Mom and Dad own Cut and Go Tree Service. Yes, they did name me after a tree. Our family loves this country and the freedom it provides. Every morning, I look forward to starting the school day with the Pledge of Allegiance. Please say it along with me, even if you just say it in your mind. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. American patriots will enjoy a 5% discount for flying the American flag and mentioning this commercial when the Cut and Go remote control, automobile mounted, articulated crane, grapple saw operators are putting your dead trees on the ground or removing large branches that grew over something important. An all-American Tons of Trees movement, cutandgotrees.com. That's CUTNGOTREES.com.
Hey, it's Vicki McKenna for Berna. Crime continues to go up, so you need protection on you at all times. Meet the new, less lethal compact launcher from Berna. It's about the same size as a smartphone, but with the firepower to incapacitate an attacker for up to 40 minutes. It's the perfect protection for people who can't or don't want to carry a firearm. Berna requires no background checks and can be shipped directly to your door. Berna is also proudly American, with each unit hand assembled in Fort Wayne, Indiana. Visit Berna.com today to find the right launcher for you.
Restoring your home or business to its natural beauty is our only business. We are Wisconsin's most trusted carpet cleaner for over 75 years.
Edelman Carpet, Furniture, and Drapery Cleaning.
It's Edelman again. Edelman. World-class accreditation.
And a track record of notable success. If you're struggling with TMJ, our team is among the world's best.
Elmbrook Family Dental.
It's one of the hottest topics when it comes to finance and your money. The One Big Beautiful Bill. If you haven't read it, we don't blame you. It's 900 pages with 400 just for tax provisions. Not exactly light reading. You know who has read it? Annex Wealth Management. That's where Instant Insight webinars come in. They're designed to provide clarity for today's hot topics. Get up to speed fast. Check out the full Instant Insight schedule at annexwealth.com/events. Unbiased advice from a fee-only fiduciary. Find out more at annexwealth.com.
Football is back.
And the season lives on iHeartRadio.
Whether it's fantasy advice
Or venting with your favorite host over that blown call.
iHeartRadio brings you all of it.
From the official NFL Podcast Network.
Welcome to NFL Daily.
To local stations that bring you the games live.
Touchdown.
This is 24/7 coverage of everything you love about football.
And it all starts now.
Just open the iHeartRadio app
And search NFL
to dive in.
Injured? Call Gruber Law.
One call, that's all.
Smart speakers put WISN's programs as close as the sound of your voice. Tell Alexa, Google Home, or Siri on HomePod to play 1130 WISN on iHeartRadio. And listen to Milwaukee's best talk shows.
We continue to follow a deeply disturbing exclusive story here on the Dan O'Donnell Show. A 13-year-old transgender boy, meaning a biological girl who is identifying as a boy, was arrested last year and expelled from Les Paul Middle School after it was discovered that she and another student identified in her expulsion document as student A were engaged in a very specific and detailed plot to shoot up Les Paul Middle School. They had made a hit list, and the student said that she was going to get her father or stepfather's gun, that she had access to ammunition, and that this was not an idle threat. The student made a TikTok video in which she was dressed like Dylan Klebold, one of the gunmen in the Columbine school shooting massacre from 26 years ago. A school resource officer at Les Paul Middle School discovered videos of the suspect holding up pictures of Dylan Klebold and Eric Harris with references to the suspect as Dylan Klebold and text exchanges between that student and student A about creating a manifesto, calling other students fat, referring to them as gay, and stating that the suspect wanted a student to die, planning scenarios to get other students in trouble, and including a burn book regarding other students. In that book were color pictures of Les Paul students and drawings. That was believed to be the student's hit list. This was specific enough of a threat that the Waukesha Police Department arrested the student on suspicion of making terrorist threats for creating a substantial risk of public panic or fear under Wisconsin State Statute 947.019. The school administration did move to expel that student, which it apparently did in, I believe, May of this year. I do not know where the student currently goes to school, if that student is currently in school, because the student was charged as a juvenile and not as an adult. Those records are sealed. I have no idea if the student actually did face charges of making a terrorist threat. If so, how it was adjudicated, what punishment the student may have faced. I don't have any of those answers, unfortunately. I reached out to Les Paul Middle School, as well as the superintendent and pretty much every other top administrative staff member whose email address I could find on the Waukesha School District website, requesting comment on this very detailed, very specific threat, and to answer a very simple question. Why weren't parents, students, families, why wasn't the school community informed of this? Because I have multiple people connected to this investigation who believe that it was a conscious decision that was made because the student is transgender, and that there didn't want to be any sort of aspersions cast on the Waukesha, on the transgender community, and that Waukesha schools didn't want to unnecessarily demonize the transgender community. Now, all of this came to light. In fact, I had to put together this story very, very quickly because it was relayed to me following the school shooting in Minneapolis yesterday that left an 8 and a 10-year-old dead and more than 16, 17 other people injured, including about 14, 15 kids in this mass shooting committed by a transgender shooter. This is the fourth, by my count, major incident of a mass shooting committed by a transgender individual. The most notable, the most infamous was 2 years ago in the spring of 2023, where a transgender man, a biological female who was transitioning to a male, shot up her old school, killed 3 people, injured a handful more. This is the second traditional school shooting. And when I say traditional, I mean the Columbine style shooting, that this wasn't gang related. It wasn't related to a robbery. It wasn't related to some sort of beef that students had. And one student shoots with the intent of killing another, but because they have bad aim or they're just spraying bullets, other students get killed. Those are technically mass shootings, but not the highly planned out revenge fantasy. Typically, it's a Columbine copycat style shooting. There have only been, according to the Washington Post's database of school shootings, there have only been 4 of them since 2023. Transgender gunmen were responsible for 2 of them. Clearly, there is something going on here in the transgender community, which we already know. I was actually wrong. I was saying that the suicide rate in the transgender community is somewhere in the neighborhood of 40 to 50%. I was actually low, believe it or not. It's between 50 and 60%. There is clearly something going on in which you are, I hate to say it, but you're feeding into a delusion that you can simply change your gender and then all of the other deep-seated psychological problems and very disturbed self-loathing will automatically go away, that all of your problems are going to be magically fixed because you're no longer a girl, you're a boy. That's lunacy. And quite frankly, it just may be the most devastatingly wrong thing, and I'm including COVID-19 in this, that the medical community has done. We will come back with more of the Dan O'Donnell Show in just a second. A reminder, after the top of the hour, Congressman Jim Jordan and Bryan Steil in studio for an exclusive interview.
From the place you want to go, Lynch McGuanago Traffic Center.
Northbound 43, heavy from the Marquette interchange to past Fond du Lac, then up near North Avenue, you got a crash block in the right lane. Westbound 94 jammed from 16th over to Hawley, eastbound from the Zoo to 35th. I'm Kevin Henry. That's your latest total traffic.
Weinster.com.
What if I can guarantee the price of Bitcoin will be $1 million in 2030? Well, I can't, but I can guarantee you you'll save a lot of money on blinds at my company, Blindster.com. Free samples, free shipping, and guaranteed to fit. Shop at Blindster.com today.
The real estate industry insiders know who to call when it's time to sell their home. This is Chris Levy with Lake Country Flat Fee. We've built up a solid track record of helping out our fellow real estate colleagues over the years. Former realtors, mortgage professionals, real estate attorneys. Being in the business, they know our reputation and they're confident we'll deliver them results and savings. Our sellers save about 50% versus a traditional 6% broker. To learn more or to schedule a free market analysis, visit our website at lakecountryflatfee.com.
At Hazelden Betty Ford, treating mental health isn't just about breaking old patterns, it's about braving new ones. As the leader in alcohol and drug treatment for 75 years, we know caring for addiction, anxiety, depression, and trauma goes hand in hand. We're here for you with new tools when life breaks down. Discover your path to better mental health at hazeldenbettyford.org/Wisconsin. Sponsored by Hazelden Betty Ford Foundation.
Live radio, trusted DJs, breaking news, live play-by-play, endless music, and podcasts just for you. It's the free iHeartRadio app. Radio your way. Join the millions who already have it. Download the free iHeartRadio app, the #1 app for radio.
Hi, Scott Reamer from Reamer Remodel, Wisconsin's leading residential remodeler, specializing in kitchens, bathrooms, lower levels, and additions. Quality craftsmanship, fair pricing, and a dedicated project manager on every job, giving you the best overall experience. Communication, transparency, process, quality. To learn more, visit us online at reamerremodel.com.
Tune in this Saturday morning at 7 when Scott will be Paul Kronforst's guest on The Remodeling Show. That's this Saturday at 7 on News Talk 1130 WISN.
I'm Victor Harding, a true trial attorney at Warshevsky Law. You've heard our advertising for years. While it's been effective introducing Warshevsky to injured people in need of maximum judgments and settlements, most of our clients come from personal referral. Referrals from former clients grateful for the settlement or trial judgment Warshevsky won on their behalf. Thus, they're recommending us to friends and family. Referrals from people in the community, including other lawyers and judges who want to make sure their friends and family are taken care of. Still not sure? Ask around. Warshevsky is referred by Wisconsin law enforcement officers who've seen Warshevsky attorneys in action, desperate to make sure friends and family receive just compensation. Insurance adjusters, often our adversaries, refer their family members hurt in accidents. They know the work we do. They all refer Warshevsky because big case or small, we can help. If someone you love is injured, please let them know, because at the end of their ordeal, their injury is about the money. Warshevsky.com.
This time of year can be tough on a number of areas in your home. This is Dan O'Donnell, and if you're struggling with any electrical issues, I recommend the superheroes at Current Electric. Chuck Smith, a Brookfield Central grad, started Current Electric over 40 years ago. His mission was to serve our community with integrity and quality, and has done that at Current Electric. If you need something as small as an outlet or switch repair or a whole home rewiring, call on the superheroes from Current Electric. Go to callcurrent.com.
I'm defense attorney Tom Grieve. Charged with an OWI, it's not just a ticket. It's on your record permanently and can affect your career or your ability to travel. One mistake shouldn't ruin your life. Contact Grieve Law for your OWI defense. GrieveLaw.com.
Hey, I'm Benjamin Yant, and we've been talking about Window Nation for what, months now? It's now getting close to the end of summer, but pretty soon we're going to be dealing with the cold temperatures. You have time now to replace your windows. Window Nation can usually get it done in a day or less. And right now, if you call, you could get 50% off all window styles, plus 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interests for 2 years. Hurry, the sale ends soon. Don't miss out. Call 866-90-NATION or windownation.com.
WISN. Big taxers, big spenders, political cronies, global warming alarmists, charlatans, liars, scam artists, and feeders at the public trough. The threats to your happiness are many, but that's where we can help. News Talk 1130 WISN. Our truth shall keep you free.
Welcome back to the Dan O'Donnell Show. For those just joining us, an exclusive story that we broke right at the start of the show. A 13-year-old transgender student at Les Paul Middle School was arrested for making terroristic threats and subsequently expelled from school after she made a hit list and specific threats to shoot up Les Paul Middle School. The school community was never informed of this. No parents were told about this, despite the specificity of the threats. And there is a fear amongst those connected to the investigation who came forward as whistleblowers to tell me about this today in the wake of the shooting at a school in Minneapolis by a transgender adult gunman yesterday. The fear amongst those sources is that this was swept under the rug out of a fear that people would scapegoat or paint with a broad brush or be angry in some way at the transgender community. In other words, out of political correctness considerations. Students were not told about this. Parents were not told about this. Now, the school resource officer did an incredible job investigating and figuring out exactly what was going on. There were 2 students, one the suspect who was suspended for this and then subsequently expelled when the threats kept coming. There were pictures of students in a burn book that were confirmed to be part of a hit list. And the threats were that there was a gun in the house, it was locked up, but there was tons of ammunition, and that this student was going to get access to the gun and then shoot up the school. Student A, as the student is referred throughout the charging document, the expulsion document, I think it was a letter that was sent out informing the student and the student's parents of the charges against her, that this student was referred to as student A. I don't know. There is a reference to both students being suspended at some point last fall for several of the threats. A TikTok video of the suspect, the transgender 13-year-old, dressed as Dylan Klebold and apparently making threats on TikTok to harm other students. It is unclear whether this other student, student A, was ever disciplined beyond that, whether or not that student also faced expulsion, and whether there was a separate letter sent home, a separate notice of expulsion proceedings with that student, and the other student, the suspect in this one, was referred to as student B. Let's say that I am not sure. I did reach out to the Waukesha School District, the superintendent, and other high-ranking Waukesha School District officials to ask, why were parents not informed about what investigators do believe could have resulted in a school shooting. I have not yet heard back, but I will relay any communication I get from the Waukesha School District as I get it. Coming up after the top of the hour news, we are so pleased to be joined by the House Judiciary Committee Chairman Jim Jordan, as well as Wisconsin's own Administration Committee Chairman Bryan Steil. They are going to provide an update into their investigation into money laundering to Act Blue, the Democrat fundraising platform that's commonly known as smurfing. Stay tuned.
All programs on News Talk 1130 WISN are broadcast through the Annex Wealth Management Studios. Annex Wealth Management. Know the difference. Listen to Benjamin Yount, weekday mornings 9 to 11 on News Talk 1130 WISN Milwaukee. And make WISN the #1 preset on your car radio and on the new iHeart app. Free never sounded so good.
Good afternoon. I'm Dave Michaels at a stop at Mid-City Steel in the Cross this afternoon. Vice President J.D. Vance promoted the effects the big, beautiful bill would have on the manufacturing industry. He also dismissed the views of Democrats who say it will hurt access to health care. And a Waukesha County jury has found a woman guilty of killing an elderly man from New Berlin.
44-year-old Martha Brown was convicted of first-degree intentional homicide. In February of 2024, prosecutors say Brown told Ozaukee County authorities she was sexually assaulted by 77-year-old Richard Platt. After Brown admitted that she physically assaulted Platt in response, police found Platt dead in the basement of his home. Court filing said Brown admitted to striking Platt with a ceramic angel, punching him, and trying to gouge his eyes. Brown is scheduled for a November sentencing. Tad Allen, Wisconsin Radio Network.
The 4 o'clock business report brought to you by the Good Feet store. The Dow up today 71 points. The NASDAQ gained 115 while the S&P rose 20. Checking the holiday automotive of Fond du Lac Sports Scoreboard. Badger football back tonight. UW hosts Miami of Ohio at Camp Randall. Wisconsin is going for its 4th consecutive season opening win. From the Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin News Center, I'm Dave Michaels on Wisconsin's most listened to radio station. News Talk 1130 WISN.
Here's the latest forecast presented by AdventKnows.com from the Fox 6 weather experts.
A mix of clouds and sun this afternoon, plus breezy with temperatures in the 60s. Clear and cool tonight with lows in the upper 40s and low 50s, then back to 60s on Friday. 70s expected heading into the holiday weekend. I'm Fox 6 meteorologist Stephanie Varachello.
This report is sponsored by First Choice Heating and Cooling. Prices are up, but your comfort doesn't have to wait. At First Choice Heating and Cooling, pay zero now and zero interest for 12 months. Lock in today's price and stay cool all summer. Milwaukee's heat's no joke. Call First Choice now.
Let's see, if something costs less, a lot less, but people are actually happier with it, that sounds like something to look into. And that's MetaShare. Maybe you've heard joining MetaShare can save you or your family up to $500 a month, and that's huge. But it's also true. People are just happier with it. They love being part of something that reflects and promotes their values and what they believe in. MetaShare works, too. It's been around for 30 years now, and members have shared more than $7 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth and a huge nationwide PPO network. So, yeah, really, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care, whether you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan that you're happy with. Here you go. You can call right now and get a price within 2 minutes. A very, very smart use of 2 minutes. Here's the number you need. It's 866-89-BIBLE. That's 866-89-BIBLE. 866-89-BIBLE.
Summer's not done yet. Be here September 1st when the Brewers host the Phillies. And get ready because we're celebrating the long weekend with Dollar Hot Dog Day at the Labor Day game. Get your seats at brewers.com/tickets.
Dan Small here. Join me for the latest info on your favorite outdoor activities. Saturday morning at 6 on News Talk 1130 WISN. Brought to you by Remy Battery, serving Milwaukee since 1931. RemyBattery.com.
Jay Weber here, someone who knows firsthand how debilitating spine and back problems can be.
love the Badgers. And Coach Fickle is my background is sport of wrestling. So
yeah.
Fickle. Luke was, when he came out of high school, I think Luke is like 6-7 years younger than me. When he came out of high school, he was the number one heavyweight in the country.
Was he?
3-time state champ, Columbus DeSales High School, 2-time junior national champ. I mean, he was. We actually got to visit with Luke when we did a roundtable discussion up in Madison, or over in Madison, since we're here in Milwaukee, over in Madison back in April on the whole NIL college sports issue. We got a pretty good bill that's coming through that, working its way through. It's passed the committee. We hope it's going to be on the House floor in September. We think it's going to help deal with the situation there. But I love the Badgers. Like I said, both our boys wrestle for the Badgers.
I thought I was going to trip you up. So there's no loyalty to the Ohio State.
Well, now I spent 8 years coaching at Ohio State.
Yeah, that's the thing.
So then, but this Saturday when Ohio State plays Texas, I'm all.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, I think we're all. Mel, you know what? I can't ever root for Ohio State or Michigan for anything.
I hear you.
You're not worried at all about Arch Manning.
Well, I hear he's good, but we'll. And what Texas is favored? Texas is number one, right?
Actually, I think Ohio State might be favored,
even though Texas is number one.
It's something like that. It's something weird like that.
Because they're playing Columbus. It'll be a good game.
It's something like the first time where the number one team in the country is opening up as an underdog. And it's good. Yeah, it is very weird. But you know what? If they're favored by 3, it's the home field advantage.
You can't rank teams well until you watch them play, and college football in particular, because every year the teams are so different. And I'm aligned with Jim on choosing Wisconsin over Ohio State, but Wisconsin's got a chance of beating 2 Ohio teams this year with Miami of Ohio tonight. And so we could come out 2-0 against Ohio this year for the Badgers.
I hadn't looked at this, so they open up tonight. Huh? That's good.
Yeah,
that's good.
It is. It's going to be a great matchup. We are all pumped up about that. Just as we have been so pumped up, guys, to have you on the show. And I do need to say before we wrap it up, I know I broke the news live on the radio last week, but I do need to, now that we're in person, congratulations, Congressman Steil, on your engagement. You and your fiance, you're like the Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift of Wisconsin politics.
I got it in before Taylor Swift, so that's good. Slow and steady wins the race, but I won the race here.
I love it. Congressman Steil, Congressman Jordan, hope you've been enjoying Wisconsin. Thank you so much, guys, for taking the time. You are listening to the Dan O'Donnell Show. Back in just a couple of minutes.
Now, here's traffic from Tri-City National Bank, your hometown bank. Call the Tri-City Total Traffic Tip Line at 414-944-5111.
894 southbound flows most of the way from the zoo to the Hale. Down at below, you got a crash off to the right shoulder. Out in Waukesha County, 94 westbound, an accident over at Highway 318. That's blocking the left lane. I'm Kevin Henry. That's your latest total traffic.
This report is sponsored by FabTech Expo.
See the future of manufacturing at FabTech, North America's largest sheet metal forming and fabricating event. Automated laser cutting, welding, and finishing is all here. September 8th through the 11th in Chicago. It's free and just a short drive. Register now at fabtechexpo.com.
You, Las Vegas, and the best musical artist on the globe. Sounds delightfully combustible, right? Win a trip for 2 to the iHeartRadio Music Festival presented by Capital One. 3 times each weekday. Text in a keyword and you might be a winner in the nationwide iHeartRadio Music Festival Flyaway Contest. Also in the prize package, $1,000.
The iHeartRadio Music Festival Flyaway Contest is sponsored locally by the friendly experts at Holiday Automotive in Fond du Lac. With 1,300 vehicles in one place, it's worth the trip. HolidayAutomotive.com.
Bob here from Industry Revolutionizing Redefined Realty. There's no way an antique Milwaukee Badger ale beer bottle would have sold for $21,000 without auction. Only Redefined Realty combines MLS with auction. MLS gets your home found, and just like that beer bottle, auction compels buyers to compete in a bidding war. Buyers see the actual high bid, then outbid each other over and over and over. Redefined Realty's home sellers love standing on the sideline, watching returns on investment increasing. It's cool and fun. Selling your home with total price transparency guarantees you leave closing a winner with the maximum profit possible. Redefined Realty allows buyers to compete with or without an agent. Redefine's winning real estate combo, MLS plus auction, is the only marketing strategy that allows buyers and sellers to both win. Just like the buyers of your home, you're going to love meeting a winner at closing. Visit redefinerealty.com for a free comparable market analysis today and let yourself win. Buyers win, sellers win, let yourself win. Real estate for winners. RedefineRealty.com.
We're the Libby family.
At Do-It-Yourself Bathroom Center near State Fair on 62nd and Greenfield.
Bathrooms and kitchens are our specialty. We use real wood cabinets and quartz tops to make beautiful rooms you will love for many, many years.
And our experts really know their stuff. Remember our slogan,
I did it myself and do it yourself. Your first date? Going well. The carnival? Cash only. But you've got this. Just like Associated Bank's got you, with access to over 30,000 surcharge-free ATMs. So when you decide to win that giant stuffed purple raccoon at $5 a throw, we're looking out for you, no matter how many throws it takes. You've got this. With 30,000 surcharge-free ATMs from Associated Bank. See associatedbank.com/checking or ask a banker for details. Member FDIC.
Step into your next chapter at Clement Manor Senior Living Community in Greenfield. Join the open house and tours in their independent living on August 28th from 2 to 4 p.m. Explore a vibrant, welcoming neighborhood where residents enjoy caring staff, restaurant-style dining, and on-site chapel, wellness and exercise programs, salon and spa, lifelong learning classes, and enriching activities. Plus, enjoy live music, sweet treats, and more. Discover your new beginning at Clement Manor. Visit ClementManor.com for more information.
Business owners who want to sell your business? At Lake Country Advisors, our team will meet with you face-to-face and will answer all your questions confidentially. Visit LakeCountryAdvisors.com and schedule a free consultation. Local, experienced, and trusted. We are Lake Country Advisors.
There are only a handful of carpet cleaning companies in the country who guarantee results, and we're one of them. It's no wonder why we're Wisconsin's most trusted carpet cleaner.
Edelman Carpet Furniture and Drapery Cleaning. Hey, it's Vicki McKenna for Burnout. Crime continues to go up, so you need protection on you at all times. Meet the new, less lethal compact launcher from Burnout. It's about the same size as a smartphone, but with the firepower to incapacitate an attacker for up to 40 minutes. It's the perfect protection for people who can't or don't want to carry a firearm. Byrna requires no background check and can be shipped directly to your door. Byrna is also proudly American, with each unit and assembled in Fort Wayne, Indiana. Visit Byrna.com today. Find the right launcher for you.
At Tri-County Contracting, take care of the outside of your home so you don't have to. Worry free roofing, siding, and windows from Tri-County Contracting. Call us at 262-679-6100 or visit us online at TriCountyContractingWI.com.
Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life. Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated the best hearing aids of 2025 by Forbes Health, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, starting at just $98 a pair.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aid.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed. Join over 1 million happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com. Injured? Call Kruger Law.
One call, that's all.
Why are TSA rules so confusing? I'm Manny.
I'm Noah. This is Devin.
And we're best friends and journalists with a new podcast called No Such Thing, where we get to the bottom of questions like that. Why are you screaming at me? I can't expect what to do. Now, if the rule was the same, go off on me. I deserve it. Lock him up. Listen to No Such Thing on America's #1 podcast network, iHeart. Open your free iHeart app and search No Such Thing to start listening.
We report, you decide. Factual, fair, and balanced coverage. Your exclusive home of Fox News Radio. This is News Talk 1130 WISN.
Our thanks once again to Congressman Jim Jordan, chair of the House Judiciary Committee, as well as Wisconsin's own Bryan Steil, great friend of the Dan O'Donnell Show, also chair of the House Administration Committee, for an incredible interview. They were kind enough to stay for 2 segments. And yes, we will have that podcasted as its own standalone podcast in the Dan O'Donnell Show Highlights podcast. We'll get that posted as soon as we can. We are following breaking news on the Packers front. The Dallas Cowboys have traded all-pro edge rusher Micah Parsons to the Packers in exchange for Kenny Clark, a defensive tackle who has been very, very good for the Packers, as well as 2 first-round picks. This, according to ESPN's Adam Schefter. Now, the Packers have not yet confirmed the trade, but a report from Shefty over at ESPN is about as good a confirmation as you can get. Parsons has already accepted a 4-year, $188 million contract with Green Bay that includes $120 million fully guaranteed at signing, making him the highest paid non-quarterback in NFL history. This season, he is going to make $47 million, putting him higher than TJ Watt at $40 million, Jamar Chase at $40.25 million, the wide receiver for the Cincinnati Bengals, and Myles Garrett, an edge rusher for the Cleveland Browns, at $40 million. Now, earlier today, ESPN was reporting that the Cowboys were willing to listen to trade offers, and apparently trade talks moved very, very quickly. Although, if you, like me, are on X every waking moment, you would have known that this has been rumored for literally the last couple of weeks. In fact, there have been X accounts, one by the name of Ricky Scoops, who said that this trade was going to happen 2 weeks ago. I know this because my uncle, I talk about him often on the show. He is about the biggest Packer fan and biggest conservative Donald Trump fan there is. He was the one we had on after the 2024 election who actually called 100% correctly all of the swing states. He calls me frantically like a week and a half ago. I'm mowing my lawn. He says, I need you to log into Twitter for me. I said, okay, Uncle Steve, what? There's a guy saying the Packers are going to trade for Micah Parsons. I said, okay, Uncle Steve, who is this guy? I don't know. His name is Ricky Talks, something Scoops. I said, Ricky Scoops? Is this? And he says, yes, Ricky Scoops. He's got the scoop. I said, there's no way. I'm not exactly sure how my 80-something-year-old uncle had the scoop about the Micah Parsons trade. Now, the rumors of this really escalated on social media over the past 24 hours or so. And there were a number of parody accounts saying it was a done deal. This was done. Who would have guessed that the randos on social media had this exactly right? Now, was this just dumb luck, a random guess? Apparently, John Kuhn, former Green Bay Packer, also former talk show host on our sister station, 97.3 The Game, he actually posted one of these rumors as fact and was summarily chided for it. Well, it turns out all of those rumors are true. This is being already compared to the free agent signing back in 1993 of Reggie White. Parsons is 26 years old. Are you ready for this? In his first 4 seasons, he has never had fewer than 12 sacks. He is the second player in NFL history to be able to say that. The first, Reggie White. Dallas took Parsons with the number 12 overall selection in the 2021 NFL draft. He had said that his lifelong dream was to play for the Dallas Cowboys. He grew up rooting for the Cowboys, but over this offseason, the two sides butted heads. Parsons wanted long-term extension. He wanted to be the highest paid non-quarterback in football, and it appeared that the Cowboys and their owner/general manager, Jerry Jones, just were not going to do that. In the last preseason game, Parsons could be seen laying on a training table in what appeared to be absolute disgust at the Cowboys organization. Was that the last straw where realized that he was never going to be able to bring Parsons back into the fold and that the trade was going to have to move ahead? It is my very strong belief that when there is this much smoke for the past 2 weeks, even if it does come from a random X account called Ricky Scoop, there is usually some fire there, and that these trade talks had probably going on for quite some time. In 63 career games, Parsons has 63 tackles for a loss. A lot of people focus on sacks as being the end-all and be-all for edge rushing and success along the defensive line, or for an outside linebacker, now called an edge rusher. Anybody who is coming in from one of the sides of the offensive line, trying to, instead of shoot the gap, come across and just beat a tackle to the outside, or possibly do a move like Reggie White, the infamous club, and get to the quarterback. If you are tackling a running back for a loss, if you're able to break up a play, say a sweep to the outside, or if you are pressuring the quarterback, you're able to get the job done. In fact, Parsons' pressure rate, which is an advanced stat, on a significant percentage of quarterback dropbacks, 19%, Parsons is able to provide pressure. That means 1 out of every 5 times the quarterback drops back, Parsons is either going to get him down for a sack, or he's going to be able to pressure him into making a bad throw, into getting the ball off quicker than he would have liked. This guy is, simply put, very likely the best edge rusher in the NFL. I don't want to say since Reggie White, because there have been some pretty doggone good ones. Michael Strahan comes to mind. JJ and TJ Watt are very, very good. JJ was more of a traditional edge rusher. His career stats, 172 solo tackles for Parsons in 63 career games, 84 assists on a tackle, 52.5 sacks, 4 fumble recoveries. Parsons has been selected to 4 Pro Bowls. He was the 2021 Defensive Rookie of the Year. He has been first-team All-Pro twice in his career, 2021 and 2022. The following season, 2023, ranked by his peers as the 9th best player in all of football. This past offseason, 2024, he was 17th. We will have much more on this breaking news, plus another big exclusive story here on the Dan O'Donnell Show, the Daily Trump Date as well, all coming up when we return in just 5 minutes.
Dan O'Donnell will be right back. From the Lynch Buick GMC West Bend Total Traffic Center.
It's going to take you 40 minutes southbound on 43 between Brown Deer and the Marquette interchange. You got a crash right near the Marquette block in the left shoulder. On to 94 westbound, add another 32 out to Moreland Road with delays over to Mitchell Boulevard. I'm Kevin Henry, and that's your latest Total Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Bet Online.
Bet Online continues to be your number one source for all your football betting action. Bet Online has all the latest odds, news, and scores. In-game betting. From every pro to college game, Bet Online remains your choice for sports wagering info. Bet Online. The game starts here.
Accurate Mortgages and Equal Housing Lender. NMLS ID 5368. Patrick and Monica initially chose a bank to get pre-approved and provide finance for the purchase of their first home. They were getting a bad feeling when a week after their offer was accepted, the bank still hadn't locked in their rate, nor had the appraisal been ordered. Monica shared her concerns with a friend who happened to be a multi-time Accunet client. That led to Monica connecting with one of our senior loan consultants the same day. And after gathering some information and reviewing options, we locked in their rate right then and there with loan costs $3,600 lower than what the bank had quoted. The appraisal was ordered right away too, and the loan closed on time just 3 weeks later. We also noticed an oversight in the contract that led to a $3,000 credit from the seller. You can get a generic pre-approval and average or worse service from the bank, or you can get the kind of fast service, advice, attention to detail, and savings that made Monica and Patrick Accunet's latest raving fans. All you got to do to get started is click on the blue button at Accunet.com. That's ACCUNET.com.
This time of year can be tough on a number of areas in your home. This is Dan O'Donnell, and if you're struggling with any electrical issues, I recommend the superheroes at Current Electric. Chuck Smith, a Brookfield Central grad, started Current Electric over 40 years ago. His mission was to serve our community with integrity and quality, and has done that at Current Electric. If you need something as small as an outlet or switch repair or a whole home rewiring, call on the superheroes from Current Electric. Go to callcurrent.com.
Whether you're on a commercial job site or tackling residential projects, support yourself and your crew with the AFS Advantage. AFS Advanced Fastening Supply is locally owned with a complete inventory of all the major brands of tools, fasteners, and safety equipment to make sure your job is done right and on time for all your projects throughout the year. Experience the AFS Advantage today. Advanced Fastening Supply on Doral Road in Waukesha or advancedfasteningsupply.com.
Golf, an enigma that delights one moment and haunts the next. For all things golf, the Swing Doctor, where the PGA professionals from Morningstar Golfers Club offer insight on everything from the latest developments on tour to what's wrong with your putting stroke. The Swing Doctor, Sundays at 2 on WISR.
Tom Nichols with Meisner, Tierney, Fisher, and Nichols. When your business is booming, often your first thought is, and should be, the cost. And the key for you to limit that cost will be to choose attorneys that have solid litigation experience and integrity, who will tell you early on, how much will this cost? And what are your chances of winning? With a wealth of successful trial experience, our firm's Mark Malloy is fully qualified to give those answers, so you can settle on reasonable terms before it costs more than it has to, or efficiently fight the case and win. Mark has done both. High integrity and earned respect have been hallmarks of our firm for quite some time. We've been representing businesses here in Wisconsin for over 170 years. Here, you'll get an honest evaluation to resolve your case, both successfully and on a cost-effective basis.
Good clients deserve good lawyers. Meisner, Tierney, Fisher, and Nichols. MTFN.com.
It's one of the hottest topics when it comes to finance and your money. The One Big Beautiful Bill. If you haven't read it, we don't blame you. It's 900 pages with 400 just for tax provisions. Not exactly light reading. You know who has read it? Annex Wealth Management. That's where Instant Insight webinars come in. They're designed to provide clarity for today's hot topics. Get up to speed fast. Check out the full Instant Insight schedule at annexwealth.com/events. Unbiased advice from a fee-only fiduciary. Find out more at annexwealth.com.
Your clear choice for more. Live in Store, Street and North.
We all remember that one teacher who made a difference. Now's your chance to say thank you in a big way. iHeartRadio's Thank a Teacher, powered by Donors Choose. Nominate an outstanding teacher in your life to be among the winners of $5,000 to stock their classroom at iHeartRadio.com/teachers.
You can't be stopped with Unstoppable's laundry scent boosters because they give your clothes 24-hour nonstop freshness. So even on your longest nonstop days, you'll be confident in smelling fresh all day long. Try now for as low as $5 and smell unstoppable.
You love her twice as much today as the day you married her, right?
Welcome to Kessler's.
Opinion, emotion, passion. This is News Talk 1130 WISN.
During that commercial break, I just looked at my phone, and I am not kidding you. I had 74 messages in the last 40-some minutes. I believe the news broke just after 4 o'clock. Adam Schefter first tweeted out that the Packers have traded for Micah Parsons. And for those who don't really follow football, this is a lot like the Packers signing Reggie White or trading for Charles Woodson, just making a massive splash. I can't believe they're doing it, a week and 3 days before the start of their regular season. They open up the regular season a week from tomorrow. By the way, the Wisconsin Badgers open up tonight as they host Miami, Ohio. Excuse me. I was told actually by Congressman Jim Jordan that it is Miami University of Ohio that they like to be called, and that you always have to get that right. I don't know about all that, but I do know that this is just a very, very exciting day to be a Packers fan. And, who can say if it's going to turn out like it did with the Packers signing Reggie White or trading for Charles Woodson. Wait, was Woodson a trade or was he a free agent signing too? He was a trade. Okay, that's what I thought. He was a trade. But both of those ended up with a Super Bowl championship. The Packers got one Super Bowl with Favre, one Super Bowl with Rodgers, Will they get one Super Bowl? Let's hope for 5 with Jordan Love and now Micah Parsons in the fold for the Packers. An exclusive story from the Wisconsin legislature, the Daily Trump Date. More on the big Packers trade, all coming up in the 5 o'clock hour.
All programs on News Talk 1130 WISN are broadcast through the NX Wealth Management Studios. NX Wealth Management. Know the difference. Listen to Clay and Buck weekdays 11 to 2 on News Talk 1130 WISN Milwaukee. And make WISN the #1 preset on your car radio and on the new iHeart app. Free never sounded so good.
Good afternoon. I'm Dave Michaels. Doctors in Minneapolis today gave an update on the victims from yesterday's deadly attack on a church.
Hennepin Health CEO Dr. Tom Clemens saying of the 14 children and 3 adults injured in Wednesday's mass shooting at Annunciation Catholic Church that 9 remain hospitalized.
6 of those patients are in satisfactory condition. 5 of those patients are children. We have 2 patients in serious condition, 1 adult and 1 child, and we have 1 child in critical condition presently.
An 8 and 10-year-old were killed, prompting an outpouring of love at a makeshift memorial that continues to grow outside Annunciation Church.
Fox's Jeff Manasso. New COVID shots for this fall have been approved by the FDA, but the go-ahead comes with some restrictions. Secretary of Health Robert Kennedy Jr. says only seniors 65 and up and people with underlying health conditions are eligible. And a 34-year-old man is dead after his motorcycle crashed on the northwest side of the city of Milwaukee last night. Fox 6's Jenna Sachs.
Milwaukee police and medics went to 115th and West Appleton around 8:30 last night. Police say the man was speeding when he lost control of the bike. He died at the scene. The crash is still under investigation.
Checking the holiday automotive of Fond du Lac Sports Scoreboard, the Green Bay Packers have traded for Dallas Cowboys All-Pro linebacker Micah Parsons, giving up 2 first-round picks and defensive tackle Kenny Clark. From the Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin News Center, I'm Dave Michaels on Wisconsin's most listened to radio station, News Talk 1130 WISN.
Latest forecast presented by AdventKnows.com from the Fox Weather experts.
A mix of clouds and sun this afternoon, plus breezy with temperatures in the 60s. Clear and cool tonight with lows in the upper 40s and low 50s. Then back to 60s on Friday. 70s expected heading into the holiday weekend. I'm Fox 6 meteorologist Stephanie Varachello.
This report is sponsored by Grand Appliance. Shop the Labor Day sale at Grand Appliance for Bosch dishwashers starting at just $7.99 and up to $4,000 back on select packages. Learn more at grandappliance.com or your local showroom. That's Grand Appliance. Appliance experts since 1930.
It's one of the hottest topics when it comes to finance and your money. The one big beautiful bill. If you haven't read it, we don't blame you. It's 900 pages with 400 just for tax provisions. Not exactly light reading. You know who has read it? Annex Wealth Management. That's where Instant Insight webinars come in. They're designed to provide clarity for today's hot topics. Get up to speed fast. Check out the full Instant Insight schedule at annexwealth.com/events. Unbiased advice from a fee-only fiduciary. Find out more at annexwealth.com.
Hey, it's Vicki McKenna for Berna. Well, crime continues to go up. You know that. Violence is happening all over our cities. You need protection on you at all times. So Berna wants you to conceal everywhere you go. So do I. That's why they made the new compact launcher. It's the world's smallest, less lethal pistol launcher. The compact launcher is about the same size as a smartphone. It's got tear gas and kinetic, less than lethal ammunition. It's designed to incapacitate your attacker for up to 40 minutes. The compact launcher is perfect for people who want protection but can't or won't carry a firearm. And if you're sending your kid off to college, how perfect is this? They need this. It requires no background checks. It can be shipped directly to your door. And Berna is trusted by police departments, government agencies, and others worldwide. Berna is also made in America. This unit is hand-assembled in Fort Wayne, Indiana. So pro-America, go America. So visit Berna.com today to find the right launcher for you. That's BYRNA.com.
Hi, I'm Tom Detlich with Granby Homes. Life can move fast or slow or somewhere in between. So when you want to sell your home, we're here to work on your schedule. Whether you need to close in 10 days or need more time to get things in order, we'll make it happen. We'll buy your home completely as is, no matter the conditions. At Granby Homes, we know your time is precious, and we won't waste it by giving you the runaround. Just a fair, guaranteed offer on your schedule. Did you know offer at grandviewhomes.com today.
Tune in every Sunday morning at 10 a.m. as Ellen Becker Investment Group highlights local people and organizations who are using their time and their talents to give back to make a difference in our community. Milwaukee's philanthropic community. Visit ellenbecker.com to learn more.
Let's see, if something costs less, a lot less, but people are actually happier with it, that sounds like something to look into, and that's MediShare. Maybe you've heard joining MediShare could save you or your family up to $500 a month, and that's huge, but it's also true. People are just happier with it. They love being part of something that reflects and promotes their values and what they believe in. MediShare works, too. It's been around for 30 years now, and members have shared more than $7 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth and a huge nationwide PPO network. So, yeah, really, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care, whether you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan that you're happy with. Here you go. You can call right now and get a price within 2 minutes. A very, very smart use of 2 minutes. Here's the number you need. It's 866-89-BIBLE. That's 866-89-BIBLE. 866-89-BIBLE. Are you tired of being tired? Go to adventknows.com.
If you are just tuning into the Dan O'Donnell Show, I hate to say it, but you missed quite a lot. As my producer Jeff and I were just talking, this might be one of the most jam-packed shows either of us has ever done. First, in the 3 o'clock hour, we broke a deeply disturbing story in the wake of that mass shooting at a school church service in Minneapolis at Les Paul Middle School in Waukesha. A transgender 13-year-old student last year made specific and ongoing threats to shoot up the school, to commit a mass shooting. She was arrested and expelled and faced juvenile charges of making terroristic threats, but families at Les Paul Middle School were never told about it, and there is a concern amongst the sources that brought me this story that was because the shooter or would-be shooter, the student making the threats, is transgender. Then in the 4 o'clock hour, big exclusive interview with our good friend, Congressman Bryan Steil, and the chairman of the House Judiciary Committee, Jim Jordan, providing updates on their investigations into what's known as smurfing. It's a laundering scheme that is primarily used on the Democrat side through their fundraising apparatus, Act Blue, in which big donations are broken up into thousands and thousands and thousands of smaller ones using unsuspecting donors known as Smurfs, whose names are used to donate thousands of times in tiny amounts, 25 cents, 50 cents, $1 at a time. So ultimately, records show that they have donated $50,000, $75,000, $100,000 to specific candidates or political parties or political action committees. But in fact, they had no idea. It was just a way to launder money from heaven knows. We will be posting that interview in its entirety on our Dan O'Donnell Show highlights page. Look for it to go up on social media at Dan O'Donnell Show on X, Facebook.com/Dan O'Donnell Show within probably the next hour or two. It's really a fascinating, lengthy interview with those two. And then at about 4:35, 4:40, the breaking news hit that the Packers have traded for arguably the best defensive player in the National Football League, Micah Parsons of the Dallas Cowboys, who had become very dissatisfied with his inability to get a new massive contract from Dallas. Well, he got one from Green Bay as the Packers give up 2 first-round picks plus Kenny Clark to get Parsons, who they then signed to a 4-year, $188 million contract with $120 million fully guaranteed, making Parsons the highest paid non-quarterback in NFL history. Season, he is going to make $47 million. Whew. I'm tired just recapping stuff we did, and there is more to go. Big exclusive story about Democrats in the state legislature trying to thwart ICE again, seeking co-sponsorship for a bill that would do just that. We will get to that, plus the daily Trump gate. As if it wasn't enough with all of this stuff going on, the vice president was in Wisconsin in La Crosse today. That coming up as part of our daily Trump date in just a couple of minutes. Normally we do that at 4 o'clock, but we had Congressman Jordan and Steil on. So we will get you the daily Trump date in just a second. First, though, a chance to win a trip for two to Las Vegas, plus $1,000 in our iHeartRadio Music Festival Flyaway Contest. You get round-trip airfare for two to Las Vegas, 2 nights hotel stay, ground transportation, tickets to both nights of the iHeartRadio Music Festival, plus $1,000 gift card. And all you need to do to enter is to text the word WIN, 200-200. You have until 55 past this hour to text the word WIN to 200-200. If you enter this contest, you will get a confirmation text and information. Standard data and message rates apply in this nationwide contest. Again, the word is WIN to win $1,000 plus a trip for two to Las Vegas. The Brewers do not win this afternoon. They fall 6-4 to the Arizona Diamondbacks. News, I think, sort of lost in the sports world amidst the Micah Parsons trade. The Brewers do get a 4-game split with Arizona. They are still, right now, 6.5 games ahead of the Cubs in the NL Central Division with a record of 83-52. Still far the best team in Major League Baseball, record-wise, heading into the final month of this regular season. I just took a look at the playoff odds for the Brewers over at ESPN.com. They held 99.99999%. Time now for the Daily Trump Day.
We're going to win so much, you may even get tired of winning.
Trump just keeps winning.
It is a win for the administration.
It's also a big win for the United States.
We have to keep winning. We have to win more. We're going to win more.
Well, today's update on all the goings-on at the Trump White House doesn't start at the White House, but starts right here in Wisconsin, in La Crosse, to be precise. J.D. Vance, the vice president, returns to the state for the first time since winning the 2024 election and giving an update on the Trump administration's plans to make the forgotten towns of Middle America, like La Crosse, forgotten no more.
Those of us who grew up in those factory towns, we were so used to seeing those proud, big, beautiful factories, seeing the night sky lit up with that furnace. We were proud of what our parents and our grandparents made every single day. And of course, they were proud to earn the kind of a job that enabled them to provide us a good life. And what happened? Thanks to a generation of failed politicians and stupid decisions, those factories closed down one by one by one. And many of those proud towns that made us who we are, ladies and gentlemen, those proud towns became ghost towns. Well, not anymore. What the President of the United States was elected on a promise to do was to bring back American manufacturing, to bring back American craftsmanship, and that is exactly what President Donald Trump is doing every single day in Washington.
After speaking today, he sat down. Vice President J.D. Vance did with Will Cain of Fox News, who also traveled to La Crosse for the interview. And the vice president talked about how difficult it is for everyday Americans to buy houses now, which he attributed in part to rising interest rates, Biden-era inflation, and also competition for housing from illegal immigrants.
Why did housing get so unaffordable for American citizens? Two big problems. Number one, I already talked about interest rates were too high. Number two, you had way too many people in this country who were competing against American citizens for scarce homes, and that's the illegal immigration problem. Why has housing leveled off over the past 6 months? I really believe the main driver driver is you've had negative net migration into the United States for the first time in 60 years in this country. You cannot flood the United States of America with 20, 30, 40 million people who have no legal right to be here, have them compete against young American families for homes and not expect the price to skyrocket. It's as simple as supply and demand. You increase the demand, you're going to increase the price.
It really is simple economics, and it is borne out by study after study that shows more migration, more immigration to a given area increases the price of homes, oftentimes by 1% or more. This couldn't be any more simple than that. To the White House we go. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt opened her daily briefing by offering the sympathies of the entire nation to the victims and their families following that shooting in Minneapolis yesterday.
As Director Kash Patel confirmed yesterday, the FBI is currently investigating this shooting as an act of domestic terrorism and a hate crime targeting Catholics. President Trump signed a proclamation yesterday following his call with the governor of Minnesota, Tim Walz, acknowledging the victims and their families and directing flags to be flown at half-mast. President Trump and the First Lady encouraged the entire nation to join all of us in praying for the victims and their families as they face unimaginable grief and loss. The White House and the FBI will continue to provide further updates as they become available.
Now, the offering of thoughts and especially prayers has come under fire on the left, with everyone from Gavin Newsom to former White House press secretary turned MSNBC pundit Jen Psaki saying prayers are meaningless, that those kids were literally praying when they were shot to death. What good did their prayers do? Leavitt addressed the comments of Jen Psaki at today's press briefing.
Yes, I saw the comments of my predecessor, Ms. Psaki, and frankly, I think they're incredibly insensitive and disrespectful to the tens of millions of Americans across this country who believe the power of prayer, who believe that prayer works, and who believe that in a time of mourning like this, when beautiful young children were killed while praying in a church, it's utterly disrespectful to deride the power of prayer in this country, and it's disrespectful to the millions of Americans of faith. And I would encourage Ms. Psaki to pray for these families themselves who need it right now more than ever.
It is interesting to note, isn't it, that let's say there was a mass shooting at a mosque, and it was two beautiful young Muslim children were killed while they were at prayer. Would any Democrat alive dare to say, where was Allah for those two children? Isn't that, in effect, what they're saying? Where is your God? Where was your God to protect you from the gunman's bullets? And interestingly enough, that message, where is your God now, was pretty much written on the gun of the transgender killer himself. Something to ponder. Not only did Caroline Leavitt have a message for Jen Psaki, she had a message for all Democrats in crime-ridden cities.
This is our message to Americans in Democrat-run cities nationwide. Decline is a choice. You don't have to live in constant fear of being robbed, raped, or murdered. Your leaders are lying to you, and they have been failing you for decades. The President Trump approach of upholding law and order by letting our brave men and women in blue actually do their jobs to aggressively fight crime works. In just a few weeks, President Trump has done more for D.C. residents than Democrats did in 50 years. And this can be replicated in other crime-ridden cities across the nation. As President Trump has said, all of these elected officials in charge have to do is pick up the phone and ask for the president and the federal government's help. President Trump doesn't care if they are a Republican or a Democrat leader. He wants Americans to be safe and for every law-abiding American citizen across the country to be able to thrive in their city and in their community.
Finally today, early this morning, second quarter GDP, gross domestic numbers released, and for a second straight quarter under President Trump, they exceeded expectations. Here's CNBC's Rick Santelli.
Second quarter GDP are now hitting the wires. 3% was our last look.
It now jumps up to 3.3%. And from a comp basis, that would still be the best quarter since September of 23, third quarter of 23.
And in fact, the stock market did get a bit of a boost, but it is all going to depend on next month's Fed meeting. And will we finally get interest rate cuts? Suffice to say, though, that all those people predicting that America's GDP would dramatically nosedive following Liberation Day and the subsequent tariffs that have been enacted were wrong. That, ladies and gentlemen, your daily look back at what happened at the Trump White House. We call it the Daily Trump Day.
From the Lynch GM store in Burlington, Center.
Heavy with ongoing roadwork southbound 4145 from Appleton down to Burleigh. Got northbound delays starting at Watertown Plank and clearing up just before Hampton. I'm Kevin Henry, and that's your latest total traffic.
This report is sponsored by Lowe's. This Labor Day at Lowe's, shop member-only doorbuster deals for a limited time. Save $50 on an Eagle Stream trimmer, now $169. Plus, get 50% off select Holland pavers, valid through 9/1. While supplies last. Program subject to terms and conditions. Details at lowes.com/terms, subject to change.
Our iHeartRadio Music Festival, presented by Capital One, is back in Vegas. Arena. Streaming live only on Hulu. A weekend full of superstar performances. Keep listening for the next chance to win your way there.
Lenovo and the iHeartRadio Music Festival. Tech that hits different. Did your gear keep up with the beat? Lenovo PCs are built for creators, dreamers, and fans who don't hit pause. Visit Lenovo.com for the latest in AI PCs and game-changing tech.
This time of year can be tough on a number of areas in your home. This is Dan O'Donnell, and if you're struggling with any electrical issues, I recommend the superheroes at Current Electric. Chuck Smith of Brookfield Central Brad started Current Electric over 40 years ago. His mission was to serve our community with integrity and quality, and it's done that at Current Electric. If you need something as small as an outlet or switch repair or a whole new wiring, call on the superheroes from Current Electric. Go to current.com.
Attention business owners. Are you thinking about selling your business? If so, contact Lake Country Advisors. Our experienced team of M&A advisors will meet with you face-to-face. We'll guide you through the process, we'll value your company, and we'll keep everything 100% confidential. So whether you're considering selling now or in the future, visit LakeCountryAdvisors.com and schedule your free consultation today. Local, experienced, trusted. We are Lake Country Advisors.
If you're someone who's experiencing shoulder, spine, hip, knee, or musculoskeletal pain and a total joint replacement might be in your future, think Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. Their physicians specialize in same-day total joint replacements at their own ambulatory surgery center. See orthowisconsin.com.
For more information about contests on News Talk 1130 WISF, go to newstalk1130.com/rules. Make News Talk 1130 WISF your number one preset on our free iHeartRadio app. Powered by Gruber Law.
One call, that's all.
Injured?
Remember, one call, that's all. iHeartRadio is the easy-to-use app for music and radio. Download the free iHeartRadio app today.
Radio Annie? No bummer. Listen to WISN's live audio stream 24/7 via the web. Just click on the Listen Online tab at newstalk1130.com.
Classical conservatism and contemporary style. You get both here on the Dan O'Donnell Show. We do have an update on the rather disturbing exclusive story that we broke in the 3 o'clock hour. A transgender 13-year-old student made multiple detailed, explicit threats to commit a mass shooting and target specific students whose pictures she had in what's known as a burn book. Last year at Hall Middle School in Waukesha. The student faced expulsion proceedings. She was originally suspended. And this, by the way, is a biological female student who identifies as a male. I don't know if there was any gender transitioning, but I do know that the student had adopted a boy's name, was using male pronouns, and was passing herself off as a boy, which was insisting that she be referred to as a boy when she is, in fact, a biological female. The student was expelled and was arrested by the Waukesha Police Department on suspicion of making terroristic threats. Because of her age, she was adjudicated as a child, as a juvenile, and not as an adult. Therefore, I am unable to get any record of that proceeding. I don't know if she was convicted of the terroristic threat. I don't know if the charge was knocked down. I don't know if she went to juvenile hall. I don't know if she got probation. That's the nature of juvenile proceedings. We just don't know. As far as whether or not the child is still under supervision, I don't know that either. Again, we just, because the juvenile justice system is designed to protect the anonymity of even offenders who commit very serious crimes like this one, if they're serious enough, they get waived into adult court. In fact, it was in Waukesha that one of the most famous examples of that, the Slender Man stabbing, in which one of those two students who committed the Slender Man stabbing attack now does identify as a transgender boy, biological female. I believe both students are above the age of 18. Biological female identifying or wants to transition to be a male. Now, this comes, and this story was given to me, it was provided to me in the wake of a transgender man, a biological male who was transitioning to female, apparently according to his manifesto or some of his unhinged writings. He was having deep regrets about transitioning or being a transgender female. The reason this story came to my attention is because of what happened. Even the investigators from the Waukesha Police Department said if this was not thwarted when it was, if this plot was not discovered, it is very likely that this suspect and her accomplice, I guess, another student referred to in the documents that I received as Student A, that they would have very likely gone through with this, that they had opportunity, that there was either at the suspect's father's home or stepfather's home. The parents are divorced and have been divorced for a long time. I don't know what the living situation was. I mean, I guess I would assume that she lived primarily with the mom, because usually that's the primary place that goes with the mother. I there's a lot to this story that I will admit I don't know. And it's because these records are just very, very difficult to obtain because they deal with minor children. I was able to obtain them because there are multiple people here who are very concerned that the Waukesha School District didn't inform parents about a very credible threat, because there were concerns that the would-be gunman, that the suspect here is transgender, and that there would be somehow judgment of the transgender community as a result. We do have an update on this story. The Waukesha School District has replied to my request for comment. Hello, Dan. The email from one of the top officials that I emailed. Actually, no, this wasn't one. I emailed the superintendent as well as a number of, I believe it was the director of student services, the assistant superintendent. I just looked for any email address I could find from someone who I couldn't find a media contact. I was just emailing anybody who would be in a position to email back. I got this from what used to be the PR person or media contact. Hello, Dan. Students safety is our number one priority in the Waukesha School District. If there is a safety concern, our district policies and procedures are followed to address the matter. We do not comment on any student disciplinary matters. I would not imagine that they would, nor could they, per state law and also Waukesha School District policy. But if student safety is the number one priority, and open, honest communication with students, parents, and the Waukesha community more generally are of tantamount concern, why was there not any sort of effort to communicate? Why is it that people are now, and this story is just going viral in Waukesha school community circles, as you can imagine, it's being shared over and over. And yes, I will be writing this out. We have just had such a jam-packed show. Folks, I will be making a lengthy written post, including all of the screenshots of the expulsion documents that I was able to obtain. We will get that out there just as soon as I can. It's probably going to have to happen right after this show ends, but I will written version for you to be able to share. And hopefully we'll be able to do some follow-up on this. For example, what exactly is the policy when there is a threat? And I understand the concern. You don't want to unnecessarily panic students and parents at Les Paul Middle School. You don't want to cause a massive disruption in learning if kids are just being, held out of school, out of safety concerns. But again, I would always err on the side of communication with the parents, telling them that, look, this happened. We do believe the threats were credible. However, it never got to a point where this student had the opportunity to shoot up the school, which I frankly don't believe to be true. If we take at face value what this suspect was saying, that they had access to guns, that she was able to get access to ammunition, that it was just kept locked up in her home, she had a book, she had pictures of kids that she and this accomplice wanted to kill. If my kid was in that book right now, frankly, I would be furious that I'm first hearing about this a year later on a talk radio show. And if the reason for that really was because, well, it's a transgender student, and we know there are these stereotypes out there that transgender people are violent and they're just completely unhinged, and we don't want to feed into that stereotype. Well, it's not all transgender 13-year-olds, but this specific transgender 13-year-old did pose a clear and present danger to other kids at that school. And in this reporter's humble opinion, the school district did not do nearly enough to apprise the families who were in potentially a very dangerous situation by having their kids in class with this little monster. This is a very serious thing. We will get back to it in just a couple of minutes here on the Dan O'Donnell Show with yet another exclusive story. Legislative Dems want to protect illegals from ICE. Shocker.
3 to 5. Dan O'Donnell will be right back.
Now, here's traffic from Tri-City National Bank, your hometown bank. Call the Tri-City Total Traffic Group line at 414-944-5111.
Solid delays northbound on 4394 from the Mitchell interchange up to Howard, where you got a crash ticket out the 2 left lanes, jammed again from Beecher to the Marquette. While we're on 4145 northbound at North Avenue, you got a crash off to the right. I'm Kevin Henry. That's your latest total traffic.
This report is sponsored by Bet Online.
Bet Online continues to be your number one source for all your football betting action. Bet Online has all the latest odds, news, and scores, even live in-game betting. From every pro to college game, Bet Online remains your choice for sports wagering info. Bet Online. The game starts here.
Bob from Redefined Realty here. I've written my own ads for 20 years. Creative genius here. Same. Well, Inet's ads and 100 other businesses' ads. Writing your own ads, you kind of get stuck repeating the same message, different words, but the same perspective. Before introducing Easy Home Bidder, Bob came to Inet to brand his brainchild, MLS Listing backed by auction. It's brilliant. MLS guarantees the home is found. Auction guarantees the highest sale price. Period. Inet branded it wrote our story, knocked our marketing out of the park. When you think of selling your home, you know MLS and auction together is the right choice. Redefined also benefits from unparalleled radio buying power, industry influence, and extracurricular enhancement of being part of the iNet community. More than 1,000 businesses working together for each other's successes. Websites, branding, design, video, and radio. iNet is improving the economy one business at a time. Contextualizing.com, CreativeGeniusMarketing.com, buyers, sellers, real estate for winners. Realty.com.
Dan O'Donnell here for my good friends at Mander Collision and Glass, the only place I've trusted my vehicles with for years now. Their customer service is impeccable, and their workmanship is so good, they guarantee it for life. But don't just take my word for it. Here's a 5-star review from Alana. Mander was amazing. From Noel at the front desk to Nikki, who helped coordinate my insurance and repairs, I could not have had a better experience. My 2021 Subaru Forester looks brand new. I honestly don't think I've had this great of a customer service experience in my life. I'll refer anyone and everyone to Mander if they ever find themselves in a bind. Thank you so much. No, thank you, Alana, for helping me spread the word about just how great Mander is. Wherever you are in the greater Milwaukee and Waukesha area, there's a service center near you. So start your repair now at mandercollision.com.
After 23 years in business, our flat fee commission structure for selling a home is more innovative than ever. Paul Leby here with Lake Country Flat Fee. Real estate commissions have been under attack this past year, and it's a wonder why it's taken so long. We always knew commissions have been on the high side in this business, and we have strived to create a better model for selling a home. Our sellers save about 50% versus a traditional 6% broker. To learn more, to schedule a free market analysis, visit our website at lakecountryflatfee.com.
Hey, I'm Benjamin Yount, and we've been talking about Window Nation for what, months now? It's now getting close to the end of summer, but pretty soon we're going to be dealing with the cold temperatures. You have time now to replace your windows. Window Nation can usually get it done in a day or less. And right now, if you call, you could get 50% off all window styles, plus 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for 2 years. Hurry, the sale ends soon. Don't miss out. Call 866-90-NATION, windownation.com.
We want everyone to enjoy their Labor Day weekend, so please use a rideshare or a designated driver. A DUI will change your life. From your friends at iHeartRadio and Gruber Law. One call, that's all.
Life can move fast, so when you want to sell your home, Grandview Homes will buy it on your schedule. We know your time is precious, and we won't waste it by giving you the runaround. It's just a fair, guaranteed offer. Get your no-obligation offer at grandviewhomes.com today.
It's one of the hottest topics when it comes to finance and your money. The One Big Beautiful Bill. If you haven't read it, we don't blame you. It's 900 pages with 400 just for tax provisions. Not exactly light reading. You know who has read it? Annex Wealth Management. That's where Instant Insight webinars come in. They're designed to provide clarity for today's hot topics. Get up to speed fast. Check out the full Instant Insight schedule at annexwealth.com/events. Biased advice from a fee-only fiduciary. Find out more at annexwealth.com.
Injured? Call Gruber Law. One call, that's all. Football is back.
And the season lives on iHeartRadio.
Whether it's fantasy advice
With your favorite host over that blown call.
iHeartRadio brings you all of it.
From the official NFL Podcast Network.
Welcome to NFL Daily.
To local stations that bring you the games live. This is 24/7 coverage of everything you love about football.
And it all starts wow.
Just open the iHeartRadio app to dive in.
Marketing in modern business means finding and serving your customers 24/7 wherever they are. WISN broadcasts are a powerful platform, but there's so much more. WISN's online digital tools are completely customizable, so you can reach your ideal customer through the iHeart app or by using software that actually finds your customers at a specific location or event. These tools are precise, efficient, measurable marketing weapons that you need to use. Combine the power and clout of WISN's broadcast and digital platforms right now. Go to newstalk1130.com, keyword digital.
Remember that bill that State Senator Julian Bradley introduced that would basically force law enforcement agencies to cooperate with ICE? Yeah, every socialist Democrat in the state legislature basically just co-sponsored a bill today doing the exact opposite. Under the Keeping Families Together letterhead that was sent out earlier today to all state legislators, Representatives Ryan Clancy, Ahmad Rivera-Wagner, Priscilla Prado, Brienne Brown, Karen DeSanto, Francesca Hong, Darren Madison, Supreme Moore Amakunde, Christian Phelps, Sequana Taylor, and Angelita Tenorio, as well as Senators Tim Carpenter, Melissa Ratcliffe, and Dora Drake, want to circulate co-sponsorship of LRB 4207. Providing grants for the provision of immigration-related civil legal services to individuals and families, county grants for the provision of civil legal services to individuals and families, and making an appropriation. Now, here's what they say. As the leading edge of Trump's fascist agenda, already you know this is going to be a banger of a co-sponsorship memo. As the leading edge of Trump's fascist agenda, ICE is tearing apart families and our communities with unconstitutional practices that make true public safety impossible. Fast, confusing, and expensive court processes often end in deportation or extrajudicial rendition without access to legal counsel. Now, I'm going to stop these commies right here. Would you believe that being informed that you are here illegally and that there is a warrant for your deportation, whether that comes from a judge or whether that comes from ICE itself, that is, in fact, due process, and all the Constitution or the laws of these United States require for you to be removed. Hey, don't take it up with me. Take it up with Bill Clinton, who signed the Immigration Act of 1996, giving ICE this expedited removal power. LRB 4207 directs funds back towards our communities to allow access to due process for all in order to address the influx of superfluous immigration-related civil legal attacks. This is especially critical as our undocumented neighbors do not have the right to a public defender during immigration hearings, including those leading to deportation. LRB 4207 appropriates $300,000 to the Department of Administration to award grants to organizations in Wisconsin for the provision of civil legal services to individuals and families related to immigration. LRB 4207 also supports local control by expressly allowing counties to provide additional legal aid grants to organizations if they choose to. Under current law, counties do not clearly have this ability. In other words, these socialists are redirecting $300,000 of your money to often, in fact, almost always criminal illegal aliens so they can fight deportation. Talk about having your finger on the pulse of exactly what it is that hardworking Americans want. You know what I was just saying? I don't think that the libs have appropriated enough of my tax money to illegal aliens. You know, I thought if there is any more that my money can do to fund illegal immigrants in my community, I just want it all to go there. You just knew if you blindly gave me this proposed legislation, and folks, this is what's known as a co-sponsorship memorandum. They send these out pretty regularly. There is zero chance this is ever making it to the floor of the state assembly. Just zero chance. But they should serve as a good reminder of what's at stake next year in 2026, not just the governor's mansion, but majorities in both the state Senate and state assembly. If the assembly falls, and all it will take is 10 victories by Democrats, they just need to pick up 10 seats. They almost certainly, folks, and I'm going to be realistic here, they almost certainly are going to pick up the one seat that they need in the state Senate to retake control there. If they get the assembly, and if it is a big Democrat year, which it very clearly could be, and if they pick up the state legislature, folks, it means almost certainly they'll win the governor's mansion. If they get the governorship, if they get the legislature, they will also have the Supreme Court. And this sort of stuff will become law at alarming speed. Wisconsin will become Illinois. Wisconsin will become Minnesota faster than you can say communists in government. We laugh at it now. We're one election away from 300,000. It would be 5 million going to protect illegal aliens from deportation. Analysis by the Legislative Reference Bureau also included in this. This bill would require the Department of Administration to award grants to community-based and other organizations based in Wisconsin for the provision of civil legal services to individuals and families in manners related to immigration. It requires DOA to establish an accessible and equitable application process for the award of the grants. Additionally, before awarding a grant, DOA must determine that the grant applicant has a record of providing civil legal services to individuals and families in matters related to immigration, and that the applicant provides such services without regard to the client's immigration status. In other words, they're trying to ensure that it is only the most radical left-wing immigration organizations that get access to this sweet, sweet government money. This, by the way, is exactly how the vicious cycle of liberal group fundraising works. Liberal groups work to provide, sure, their legal services to illegal immigrants, but they also advocate for the election of Democrats. Democrats who will then get into office and award government contracts and government grants to those same organizations. This is the scam that has been run over and over and over again. The non-governmental organization NGO scam is where Democrats get their biggest advantages. It's twofold. One, it's the mainstream media. I mean, that is, if we did not have a biased propagandist national press, and to a lesser extent, state media and local media. For example, here's a great example. How many news organizations do you think are going to follow up on my exclusive report, which obviously the Waukesha School District just confirmed as being completely accurate? I mean, my goodness, I've got the documents. How many do you think are going to follow up? Hey, a day after a transgender killer opened fire at a school church service in Minneapolis, we almost had a transgender 13-year-old commit a mass shooting at Les Paul Middle School last year. Do you think, you would think it's timely? They are always looking for the local angle, the Wisconsin connection to every national story. I will bet you there is not a single follow-up. There is not a single bit of reporting on my local story, on my connection, on my exclusive. Not one. Not one nightly newscast will have this story. The Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel will not have this story. It's a tremendous power. It's not just what they cover, it's what they don't cover. That's the number one power that the institutional and political left has. Number two, the ability to award liberal groups money that then work to elect more Democrats. The institutional power of the government bureaucracy in order to get legislation passed like this. And ultimately, does it really matter who the elected officials are? at the top of each agency within a given executive branch. They come and go every 4 or 8 years. The bureaucrats who are entrenched and completely unable to be fired, they're there forever. The power of government itself is another massive advantage that Democrats have. And here is another way that they are showing they know how to use it. You are listening to the Dan O'Donnell Show. It's a tour de force of truth.
From the Lynch Chevrolet of Kenosha Total Traffic Center.
Crash cleanup continues to block the left lane, 4394 northbound near Howard. Over in Heartland, you got a crash, Highway 16 and Merton, a gas leak in Milwaukee, 600 block of Ryan Street, and a crash in Shortwood Edge Road in Oakland. I'm Kevin Henry. That's your latest Total Traffic.
This report is sponsored by the International Hot Rod Association.
The International Hot Rod Association and Durana Hybrid, where the roar of the engine meets the torque of the race. IHRA and Durana Hybrid are bringing back the thrill of racing and the pride of skilled trades. For mentorship and education, we're fueling the future. And in the trades. Tickets at IHRA.com.
You know, we've been fortunate enough to stick around for a pretty long time. And we've been able to thrive in sometimes some pretty rough conditions. And I'm pretty sure it has something to do with the homeowner's need to have properly functioning windows and doors. But I think a lot of credit needs to be given to expert advice. Our staff knows windows and doors intimately, and they have ready answers for problems that in a lot of cases, the other guys just couldn't solve. How many times have I heard a customer say, I should have just come here first? And I always say, well, I'm just glad you came. Because it feels good to help our customers, and we found that that makes them loyal. They tell others, and they become loyal, which explains why we've been so fortunate. This is David Wilhelm. When you have an architectural problem that our vast and unique window and door selection can solve, or you just need something that the big box store told you could find here, come to 51st in Lisbon and visit Lisbon Storm Screen and Door.
Your clear choice for more, Lisbon Storm Screen and Door.
Find out more at lisbonstorm.com.
An app for pics, an app for playlists, even the app for scrolling endlessly at 2 a.m. But only one app puts the live radio dial in your pocket. The free iHeartRadio app. Get what millions already have. iHeartRadio, the #1 app for radio.
Welcome back to Ask Hassleus.
I believe in aliens, ghosts, and UFOs, but I don't believe Hassleus Mattress is employee-free.
It's true. Give our mattresses a try with no pushy sales guide.
These mattresses come from Area 51.
We're talking big names like Sealy Posturepedic and Beauty Rest.
Who's supporting you? The Illuminati?
If you need support, through Monday, get a free adjustable base with any new mattress.
That's what the lizard people told you to say.
Find an employee-free showroom near you at Hassleus.com.
Hey, it's Vicki McKenna from Burnout. Crime continues to go up, so you need protection on you at all times. Meet the new, less lethal compact launcher from Burnout. It's about the same size as a smartphone, but with the firepower to incapacitate an attacker for up to 40 minutes. It's the perfect protection for people who can't or don't want to carry a firearm. Burnout requires no background check and can be shipped directly to your door. Burnout is also proudly American, with each unit hand-assembled in Fort Wayne, Indiana. Visit Burnout.com today to find the right launcher for you.
Have you heard a lot of buzz about tariffs?
No.
Really?
What's a tariff?
It's a tax on imported goods.
Well, I've never heard of tariffs because 92.3% of Penny Mustard's furniture is made in the USA.
True.
In fact, most of it is built by local craftsmen and women right here in the Midwest.
And locally sourced furniture will never have a tariff on it.
Can we talk about this later? I'm tired of hearing about these tariffs.
So I guess you can say that all this talk about tariffs is taxing.
PennyMustard.com.
Make your long summer holiday weekend a good deal better by stocking up on your favorites during the Buy 5 Save 5 sale at Meijer. Buy 5 or more and save $5 or more when you mix or match over 2,000 items store-wide, like Meijer shredded or chunk cheese, 24 packs of select Coca-Cola and Pepsi products, plus deposit where applicable. Ronnie paper towels and Dixie Family Pack paper plates and bowls. The Buy 5 Save 5 deals at Meijer. That's the good life, a good deal better. Decisions apply. All deals in the Meijer app.
Let Tri-County Contracting take care of the outside of your home so you don't have to. Worry for your roofing, siding, and windows from Tri-County Contracting. Call us at 262-679-6100 or visit us online at TriCountyContractingWI.com.
Statewide. Hear that? That's the sound of your life.
perfectly imperfect, beating in rhythm to the world you've created. But every time you drive after drinking, music gets drowned out. Life sounds pretty great. Don't let a buzz ruin it. Buzz driving is drunk driving. Don't drive buzzed. A message from Nits in the Ad Council.
There's only one store that gives you every possible choice in diamonds.
Welcome to Kessler's.
Oh my goodness, a powerful run to the house. Under duress and into safety.
The tradition of Badger football.
Touchdown, Wisconsin.
Join us Thursday. The Badgers open the season against the Redhawks. Our coverage begins at 6.
Looking pressured and sacked.
Milwaukee's home for Wisconsin football.
Which is a good thing for the Badgers.
97-3 the game.
Vice President J.D. Vance in La Crosse today. Not only did he speak at a local business, he did an episode of the Will Kane Show. Will brought his show to La Crosse to interview the vice president, who said, rather remarkably, home prices over the past 4 years, just in the time Joe Biden was in office, have doubled.
You go back to the 4 years of the Biden administration, from 2021 until 2025, when we took over, the average price of a new home doubled. That's a 100% increase in 4 years. That priced millions upon millions of young Americans out of the housing market. Now, there's a little bit of good news here, because even though we've only been in power for about 7 months, you've already seen home prices flatten off a little bit. They've gone up, depending on what metric you believe, about 1%, maybe less than 1%. That's a big, big improvement. But there's so much more that we got to do. And this is why the President of the United States goes after Jerome Powell for being too late, because, of course, the housing crisis in this country is really two things. Number one, that the prices are too high. We've made some progress on that. In some ways, more importantly, the interest rates are too high. So even if you can afford the top line dollar value of a home, if the interest rates are way too high because the Federal Reserve isn't doing its job, that also makes the American dream of home ownership unaffordable. So we're really working on both of those things.
In fact, the average new homeowner age in America right now, 38 years old. First-time home buyer, that just printed in, I believe it was the Wall Street Journal 2 days ago, 38 years old. 25 years ago, 30 years ago, that was in the 20s. You have got far more people. In fact, the average home buyer, not just first-time home buyer, the average home buyer in America right now is in their 50s. That's unheard of. And in fact, it does signal that home ownership is getting completely unaffordable for the average American. And a big reason for that isn't just inflation, although that was the biggest reason. It isn't just the fact that mortgage rates are out of control for most Americans, on top of the fact, well, you've got the baby boomers who are saying, well, back in my day, interest rates were 14%. That's right. Your house cost $25,000. And even with inflation, it was a much smaller percentage of your annual income. Your monthly payments were a tiny fraction of your monthly take-home paycheck compared to what they are now. The average bite of home mortgage prices, rent, whatever it is, mortgage prices, especially because of interest rates being where they are, it's not affordable. It's $3,000, $4,000 per month. I mean, that's absurd for most people. It just prices them right out of the housing market to begin with. All right, let's end a very busy Dan O'Donnell show on a lighter note. Badgers open up their football season tonight. Yes, a rare Thursday night game. Kickoff is set for 8 o'clock, but it's a Big Ten Network doubleheader tonight. They play the Miami of Ohio Redhawks, and the Badgers are not ranked to start the season, but Miami of Ohio apparently sucks quite badly, because the line on this game is 18.5 points at Camp Randall tonight. Go Badgers. I have less than no idea. I have really not been following spring practice nor preseason practices. I usually get up to speed on what the Badgers football season is going to look like. Tonight, on opening night, or usually it's opening day at Camp Randall's. So I don't know what you folks are doing, but I am going to be staying up late tonight to watch some Badgers football. Quick programming note, I am actually going to be off tomorrow. I do have some, yes, I know I'm taking a 4-day weekend. It's actually more to take care of some personal stuff that I've got to do. And then I've got fantasy football drafts pretty much all weekend. And no, I'm not taking off work to do a fantasy football draft during the middle of the afternoon. That would be really pathetic. I've got a fantasy football draft at like 6:30 p.m., so I've got to do that. I think I've got 3 fantasy drafts this weekend, including one with my high school buddies at my new house. It's going to be a whole lot of fun on Sunday afternoon. I hope you all have a very safe, very fun Labor Day weekend. I'm off tomorrow, but I will be back Tuesday afternoon, 3:06, right here on the Dan O'Donnell Show. Happy Labor Day weekend, everybody.